Namaste, myself Triveni Khurana, Assistant Professor, Faculty Physiotherapy and Diagnostics, JVN, Rajasthan. Today we are going to discuss about Myasthenia gravis. Myasthenia gravis is a chronic autoimmune disorder in which antibodies destroy communication between nerves and muscles, resulting in weakness of the skeletal muscles. Myasthenia gravis affects the voluntary muscles of the body, especially those that control the eyes, mouth, throat, and limbs. The disease can strike anyone at any age but is more frequently seen in young women of 20 and 30 and men aged 50 and older. A myasthenia gravis crisis can involve difficulty in swallowing or breathing. Cause of myasthenia gravis is unknown and there is no cure, but early detection and prompt medical management can help people live longer, more functional life. Cause myasthenia gravis is not inherited and it is not contagious. It generally develops later in life when antibodies in the body attack normal receptors on muscle. This blocks a chemical needed to stimulate muscle contraction. A temporary form of myasthenia gravis may develop in the fetus when a woman with myasthenia gravis passes the antibodies to the fetus. Generally, it resolves in 2 to 3 months. Symptoms. Most common symptoms are visual problems including drooping eyelids, double vision, muscle weakness, fatigue may vary rapidly in intensity over days and years, even hours, and worsen as muscles are used. Facial muscle involvement causing a mask-like appearance, a smile may appear more like snap. Trouble swallowing and pronouncing words, weakness of neck or limbs. The symptoms of myasthenia gravis may look like other conditions. Flare-ups and remissions that are easing of symptoms may occur now and then during the course of myasthenia gravis. Remissions, however, are only rarely permanent or complete. So, myasthenia gravis is a syndrome of fluctuating skeletal muscle weakness that worsens with the use and improves with rest. Eye, facial, oropharyngeal, axial, and limb muscles may be involved in varying combinations and degrees of severity. Diagnose by neurological examination. This includes testing reflexes, muscle strength, muscle tone, sense of touch and sight, gait, posture, coordination, balance, and mental skills. Impaired eye movement, muscle weakness may prompt a doctor to evaluate further. Blood test to measure myasthenia antibodies in the blood. About 80 to 85% of MG patients test positive for antibodies for acetylcholine receptor. A positive antibody supports the diagnosis of MG. Eyes test. Cooling of muscles affected by MG may transiently improve weakness. This test is simple and easily performed on a droopy eyelid, often helping to confirm a diagnosis of MG. Adrophonium test. Short-acting drug called adrophonium chloride. Example, tensilon, given intravenously. It weakens, especially in the eyes muscles, briefly and temporarily improves. It indicates MG. Nerve conduction studies or repetitive nerve stimulation. Small electrical impulses applied to a nerve resulting in muscle contraction. Muscles in patients with MG fatigue easily and don't bounce back from repeated stimulation as well as those of a healthy person. Single fiber electromyography. Sterile needle electrode is inserted into a muscle which the patient gently contracts or activates. Computer analysis of several recorded electrical signals in that muscle may show abnormal neuromuscular transmission found in MG as well as some other neuromuscular disorders. Imaging such as CT and MRI often identify an abnormal thymus gland or tumor. Q-motor, QGFA or QIMA assessment might be useful tools to quantitatively assess muscular weakness. Q-motor assessment safe and non-invasive, which is easily applicable, that can be used in outpatient settings. If QIMA prove their validity in a larger cohort, they might be valid tools to use as endpoints. We are taking an example of myasthenia gravis patient. A common belief is that exercise is a poor choice for individuals with MG, since we know that repeated muscles causes muscle weakness. It may be perceived that exercise will only bring on more weakness or fatigue, exacerbating the condition. Very few studies have been conducted on the impact of exercise on MG. As a result, additional studies need to be conducted to further understand this relationship. However, as of now, studies have shown that carefully prescribed and structured exercise programs can improve aerobic exercise capacity and muscle strength. We know that exercise is of importance to keep bones and muscles strong, to help maintain mobility in the general population. Low impact exercises such as walking, swimming, and light jogging may actually reduce fatigue in patients with MG. In general, reason why exercise exacerbates symptoms in individuals with MG is due to pre-existing inactivity. A condition such as MG often motivates individuals to engage in more sedentary behavior for fear of worsening symptoms with exercise. Once sedentary, muscle becomes weakened, and any degree of exercise will place stress on muscles and hasten fatigue. Inactivity can hasten the development of secondary health conditions such as obesity, coronary heart disease, muscular weakness, and osteoporosis, or low bone mineral density. Keeping the body active is a great strategy to maintain mobility and muscles function, but also to prevent secondary complications associated with secondary behavior. For most people, regular exercise leads to increased muscle strength, muscle endurance, improved cardiorespiratory health status. While exercise can't reverse the body's autoimmune response to acetylcholine receptor, it will keep the body strong and reduce the chances of developing secondary health conditions which complicate MG symptoms. On the contrary, participating in competitive sports or engaging in ultra endurance events is not suggested for individuals with MG. One reported case of an ultra marathoner with MG revealed that even while on heavy doses of medication to control his symptoms, the strain of running 20-kilometer race caused muscular cramps, weakness, difficulty swallowing, and breathing. When engaging in exercise, individuals with MG must be cautious. They must consider the time of day in which they exercise, type of exercise, duration of exercise, and the environment in which they exercise. Because fatigue is a common symptom of MG. Individuals with this condition should exercise in the morning when they have the most energy and are least fatigued, since muscular weakness is usually heightened in the evening. Being conscious of timing to avoid fatigue not only applies to exercise but also to the eating schedules of individuals with MG. Chewing is essentially an exercise which works the muscles of the jaw. If these muscles experience too much fatigue, individuals may be at greater risk of choking because their food is inadequately chewed. To combat this, meals should also be planned with the largest meals of the day coinciding with the time at which the individual is least fatigued. Excessive heat can bring on muscle weakness. As a result, exercise sessions are best limited to the mornings when temperatures are lower or performed in indoor facilities to avoid hot, humid outdoor environments. To ensure safety while exercising, PACE is suitable guideline. PACE include P. Planning daily activities. A. Adapting the home, adequate rest, assistive equipment, asking for help. C. Conserving energy, checkups with doctor, cool temperature. E. Emotional stability, exercising in moderation, eliminating unnecessary daily tasks. Although there are no set guidelines for exercise intensity, duration, and loads for individuals with MG. Regular to moderate exercise in the form of walking, swimming, jogging, or recreational sports can combat muscle weakness. Exercise should be repeated, yet only performed at a level which falls short of muscular fatigue. Exercise progression should be based on the needs of each individual. Some cases of MG are less progressive, meaning individuals may be able to tolerate more exercise, while in other circumstances, less exercise may be advisable. All strengthening exercises should progress first from range of motion exercises to emphasize flexibility to exercise using light resistance in the form of TheraBand, and finally to full resistance exercise using machines and free weights. A general exercise prescription for an average individual is 3 sets of 10 repetitions, while no distinct guideline exists for individuals with MG, starting with the lower prescription of 3 sets of 5 repetitions may be advisable. Thank you.